I worked for GM.
Yeah, so
I worked for a
so
GM
they said,
company
"What the fuck are you going to do about it? Fuck off, and we'll sell it back." So they bought it back for $22.50 a share.
Right. That's incredible.
A share. So bailout was good, and some of it went to good things, but some of it went to these assholes, and that's what goes on all across the fucking board. And we have organizations in our government that watch for these things. And they're getting. Everyone's getting paid, man.
The ones
I'm not falling for it. But
I'm saying
this
like
is my point.
the organization that's in charge of inspecting those things also throws itself a party in Vegas every year and spends $3 million on building bicycles as some sort of weird training or some shit. Like there's a report that come out. Yeah, exactly.
Lots of hookers.
There's a report that came out. These ones that are supposed to be penny pinchers in the government. They're supposed to look and edit and audit and make sure all the money's being spent.
They understand that.
Right.
They are understanding.
And then they're spending millions of dollars on a party for themselves.
That's my point, man. We could be such a think about. Just close your eyes and imagine it for a second. Cancer-free, AIDS-free, no poverty. Literally, no poverty. Living off of our resources. Being like how Kuwait does, where we have oil and corn. Those are major and cotton, major resources that we sell and we outsource.
Sure,
and we make billions of, maybe trillions of dollars off of.
And tobacco.
And tobacco, and if that got trickled back into the middle class, not only just the middle class citizens, rich and poor, if it filtered in on points, on stock options, on shares of those goods, we'd all be rich.
Yep.
We'd all be rich. And we'd all have to work jobs, because you would still work jobs to keep these things going. That's what they would say. Well, if everybody was rich, who would work? Well, if we all stopped working, these resources would go away. So you have to work. I mean, the idea of working, you still have to work, but you'd have profit sharing. Everybody would own their house. Everybody would buy a car with cash.
Yeah.
Everybody would buy their home with cash. There'd be no banks. There'd be no need for banks. We don't need for any of this shit. There'd be no any need for corporate anything. But corporations could still, if they're bottomed out, they still have money coming in. They still have, all these things would still be going on. People would still be buying iPads around the block. People would still be lining up and sleeping for a week to get the new iPhone 5. All that would still be going on. Only now we'd actually have the resources to do it. And it's just sad. It really is sad. And the America we once knew is not what it is.
No, and it's been taken over by corporations. And when
Sure.
and the final domino to fall, just to let the floodgates completely open, was when corporations became people, and were allowed to and then influence the elections by just pouring millions of dollars into these candidates so that they'll support their cause and not put in a rule that's going to fuck them over.
Yeah.
That's really what it all is. It's all about lobbies and money and favors and corporations getting what they want and getting and becoming richer, while everyone that works for those corporations it gets
bleed
poor.
out.
Right.
Yeah, they bleed out.
Yeah.
It's but don't worry, we're going to raise minimum wage. We're going to keep that going. I mean, it's like we're going to have
dangle
the carrot,
right? We're gonna have 20% tax cuts across the board.
Yeah,
we just don't know how we're going to do that yet.
Because you're not.
We're going to get back to you on that.
Yeah, here's the deal. There is no such thing as tax cuts from the Democrats or the Republicans. We are at a point where we have to be taxed. We're going to have to be taxed in 2013. I don't want it.
Right.
But the $800 billion goes to the military-industrial complex. They need their money.
Right. It's got to get paid for somehow.
It's got to get paid. It does get printed out of thin air, but to keep our monies to balance out in some side, they got to tax us. It's just what it is. So the Hillary Clintons of the world, to Obama, to Mitt Romney, to anybody, man, they're getting paid by the boys, man. They're not. They're there to swing, man. The CFR is a think tank to tell everybody what to do next. It's just a joke, man. Mm-hmm. It's just a fucking joke. All this money goes to just terrible things. Let's shift a little bit.
Sure.
I read this article. I don't know. Are you aware that Portugal, a little over 10 years ago, decriminalized every drug?
I am not aware of that.
Completely decriminalized 100% of the way. So I have an article 10 years later saying, where are they as a civilization? Because everybody said, "Oh God, don't go to stay out of Portugal now, because there's just going to be people that want to do drugs and get fucked up."
Right.
This is kind of a long article, so I'm definitely not going to read it. So I'm just going to kind of paraphrase a little bit.
Okay.
Basically, across the board, all drug use is down by 60%.
Huh.
Not a little bit, not a little over, 60% down. Because they had such a drug problem, and they couldn't stop it. They were being taken over. So they just said, we're making it legal. Once you make things legal, it's legal. You sell it in stores. You package it. You make it. You create it. The government makes money off of it.
Right.
There's no more guy in the suit, that's selling shit with his guns and with everything else. It's not illegal. There's no more running.
There's no black market.
There's no black market.
Right.
And go back as far as to prohibition. Alcohol was a major thing by the gangsters, man. They made a lot of money selling that shit. Then they made it legal. Now look, no one. You could still buy a still today, and make beer. Is anybody making beer?
So, I mean, on a certain level, yes, because there is that hobby of microbrewery.
You know what I'm saying, though. I mean, but in reality, or you're gonna go spend $18.
But there's people aren't making whiskey on their own.'re not making bourbon. They're not making vodka.
Moonshine.
They're not making moonshine. Right. No. That's not happening. Yes, it's happening on a small scale in backwoods somewhere because that's hillbillies.
If a tree falls in the woods, man.
Right,
Come
but
on.
it's nothing.
It's nothing.
It's a hobby at most.
And they were saying in the show I was listening to, they were describing it, just talking about it, saying like, well, even like these dispensaries, their lobbyists are going against full legalization because they don't want a $400 ounce to go down to $100 an ounce or $200. Because think about it, why would I go spend $400 an ounce when you can grow just the same shit from a $5 plantling? Mm-hmm. Right? It's purely speculation, by the way.
Right.
And grow the same kind of great weed, and then you give it to me for say $35 an ounce. Because really,
it's profit.
What's a seed cost you?
Right, nothing.
$7.
Right, I think it's $7.
And then a few months of time.
Right.
Your light bill. So let's say totally out of that few ounces you get,
and it's purely speculation. It costs about $75 a month.
Purely speculation. Right. So we'll have to have a show called Purely Speculation one time. But anyways, yeah. So when you look into it that way and you see $400 an ounce, that'll go away.
Yeah,
all that stuff will go away.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it too.
Dude, listen, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The idea that I smoke weed, right, and I'm tired of dealing with shitty pot dealers that are never around or don't have anything, or the shit that they have is garbage. I want to be able to go into a dispensary and feel like I'm at a store, and I'm going to talk to someone who's going to tell me what's the good shit, what's the bad, what am I looking for, what kind of, knows the product, is going to sell me the product, and I can go there and I can be assured that it's going to be there. Like when I go to fucking Jewel and I want to buy a fucking case of beer, I know it's going to be there.
Miller Lite specifically. Right. It's there.
Right.
You have a brand and you go there and get it, and it's the same beer every time you go there.
Yeah. And you know what? And if I decide, I don't want to drink Miller Lite this time, I want to drink Pabst Blue Ribbon, I can do that. I can go to the store and do that, and I know it's there, and it's going to be there every time.
Right.
And I don't have to call the store ahead of time and say, "Do you have it this time?"
Right.
No, my guy, I'm waiting for my guy.
Yeah,
my guy.
I'll call you later, and then you never get the call.
And then, or you get it, and he says it's PBR. But then you taste it, and it's not PBR.
Yeah,
and it's
Mickey's.
Right. It's like Schlitz or something, Although PBR and Schlitz are about the same thing, so most people won't see it. But I think PBR is a tasty beer. But
there's obviously a market for it, so no one's sort of shit.
But that's what I'm talking about. It needs to be that way.
And it is in the states that do it. When you go into these places, it's like a doctor's office. It's spotless.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Spotless.
I love it. I know they're open from this time to this time. I'll go in and get my shit done.
Some have little rooms you can go smoking in the back and shit. I mean, dude, you're just hanging out. Yeah, why not?
Why not? What's the problem? There's no reason not to.
You have multiple lobbyists on multiple levels across all platforms that are stopping it from happening. Plain and simple. It's not just a big farm. It's not just tobacco, because tobacco beer does not want you smoking weed.
Absolutely not.
Because now that I haven't smoked since about the June 1st, I haven't smoked any weed since. I've drinking more beer, more alcohol than I've ever. If you combine my entire life, I'm not joking.
I don't doubt it.
You combine my entire life, and it's not because I got to be buzzed. It's I come home. And I want to be buzzed a little bit. I want to hang out a little bit.
Unwind a little bit.
Yeah, relax. I want to unwind a little bit. So I have 2 or 3 beers, and then I go to bed.
Right.
I'm not smashed and beating my old lady. You know what I mean? It's insanity. Right. I do have control. Yep. So when you look at it like that, it's something else. So it's there's a lot of people that are against it, and a lot of people that don't want it out there because they'll see a lot of things go away.
Well, and there's also a large segment of people that still buy the idea that it's just as dangerous as heroin.
I bet that number's a lot less than you think it is, because there's a lot of people that have a lot of kids that smoke weed that are 50 years old. Mm-hmm. We know a few of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? I could vouch for my grandma. She called it the weed.
Right.
You know what I mean? She didn't know any. So maybe those people, but they're dying off, man.
Sure.
You know, I truly believe the 70s kids, they're there now, and they know weed's not dangerous.
Right. Yeah.
They just know.
Children of the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, they just know it's not dangerous. You know. Then now the other excuse to play devil's advocate on myself is the weed today is not hay that it used to be in the 60s
it's not the
and 70s.
bullshit.
It's literally hay in a bag, you know.
Right. No, it's literally purple in some cases.
Any color almost you want at this point.
Yeah, there's blue, red,
it's awesome.
orange.
So people, you know, that would be the one argument that maybe that conservative fuck that used to smoke that now is better than it can say against it. But I bet that number is very small. It's very small.
It's small, but it's still out there.
It's out there.
They're a vocal
and you know what? It will always be out there.
Right. They're a vocal
It's never going to go away. Really? I mean, I don't really hear them ever.
I think those people are in government. And you hear.
Those are the people I'm talking about that get paid by these lobbyists to argue that point. Do they really believe it? No. Dude, you know what? How about everybody in government gets a drug test? Every month. Let's drug test every one of them. I bet all of them smoke. Not all. That's ignorant. But I bet a lot of them smoke weed.
Sure. And I'm especially the ones that say that you should have a drug test in order to be able to collect unemployment. Yes. Let's drug test you guys then.
Any guy that's tapping his foot under the stall to get another man to solicit sex with him is probably smoking a joint too. I'm just saying, to go to sleep at night with that kind of demons on it, you might need to smoke a fucking joint.
Right, you might need to ease your mind.
Yeah, I kind of want to play a little it's not a game, but it's a half-ass game with you. I do banquets, right?
Okay.
And at these banquets, they're always specialty banquets. Now I have the Republican wedding.
Okay.
I have the black wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I have the black birthday party. Okay. I have the Mexican birthday party. Okay. I have the Mexican graduation party. I have 8th grade graduation. I have
bar mitzvahs and shit like that?
Bar mitzvah. I also have bat mitzvahs. I want you now to just name a party, and I'm going to tell you what these kind of people are like at these parties. Now, mind you, I'm a bartender, so I'm liked by everybody because you're the bartender.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I hear the conversations.
Right.
They're buddying up, and I hear what.
Right. Yeah, I get you.
I'll explain the music, and I'll explain the environment to any, and every one of these parties is a specific. It's a demographic. It's one demographic, and I see it for 7 hours at a time, and then it goes away. And
all right, I got one for you.
We always talk the next day or during how crazy this one is comparison to this party.
Sure. So I just off the top of my head, first one I can think of is Asian birthday party.
I don't have an Asian birthday party, but I have an Asian wedding.
Okay.
So the Asian wedding, it's very prim and proper, and they don't drink a lot.
Okay.
So the bar kind of sucks, the tips suck, and the people suck. They suck because Asian people in general don't like Americans. I think they think we're arrogant as shit, which we are. Mm-hmm. And they play it back to us. Like, I'm very nice to these people. I'm like Cocktail, like Tom Cruise in Cocktail. And I'm at these things, because we make a lot of money if we're that way. And the other guy I work with sometimes will be like, man, stop being so nice to people. We're not making any tips. But I see the guy that's 20 feet away from me watching us and then coming up and seeing we're having fun.
Right.
That's who I'm trying to get every time. Is not the guy. I'm trying to get the next guy, okay?
Right.
Asians don't care. They don't care how nice you are to them. And I mean Asians from Japanese to Koreans,
Filipinos,
all of them. They don't look at you and they don't give a shit, and they want like they all just drink wine. There's no like mixed drinks. Right. There's no anything
because they're sophisticated.
Supposedly. So I have that. Okay. So. Oh, and by the way, their music, none. Like they literally don't play music. Like, really? Because we offer a sound system, and you can either bring it's like free if you have your own iPod or iPad. We just plug it in and play it. Mm-hmm. But if you want us to put our shit in, it's like another fee. So usually people just plug their iPad in. Okay. And all I got to do is press play, and I stand there the whole night. Mm-hmm. They want no music, and this is like a function. It's at a wedding and everything, and they want no music. So like the dinner happens, they all hang out, and then they hang out for 4 hours, barely drinking,
and just chatting with each other.
Just chatting with each other. That's the Asian wedding.
Okay, so how about now this might be another one that you might not have had, but like white teenage girls' birthday party.
I have an 8th grade graduation.
Okay, close enough.
It's so me and this girl we were the bartenders, but now it's just pop. Okay, because it's kids.
8th grade.
But there was like 30 some chaperones that they were allowed to have alcoholic beverages. Okay. They were all getting plowed up in our warehouse. Like there was not one chaperone, right? And I swear to you, we have a shuttle service that takes you from, because obviously parking is fucked up. So we have a shuttle that takes you like across town to our restaurant. So the shuttle pulls up, and me and this girl are setting up plastic cups in rows because you grab a cup, ice,
Mm-hmm.
Set up the plastic cups. We got the pop all set up. We literally like, all right, we're set up, and like we look over in the distance because we see the